Facebook groups, building a fenced-in community for high retention. The conceptual shift from using Facebook pages to leveraging Facebook groups in a business context represents a strategic evolution for audience retention. Facebook pages, often equated to public squares bustling with distraction and unfiltered competition for attention, serve the purpose of discovery, acting as magnets for new prospects. However, the challenge with pages is the volatile nature of a news feed, where algorithmic forces and a plethora of competing signals can render even the most compelling content ephemeral. This is where the strategic value of Facebook groups becomes apparent. A fenced-in environment constructed not merely for exclusivity, but for sustainability and high customer retention. The deliberate act of fencing in an audience is underpinned by measurable business logic. Customer acquisition is documented as significantly more resource-intensive than retention, with studies consistently suggesting it is up to 5 times more costly to attract a new customer than to retain an existing one. Within a Facebook group, a business architect creates conditions that mitigate churn, a persistent thread in open networks, by transforming a collection of followers into a cohesive, engaged community. The fence in this context does not symbolize rejection of outsiders, but rather confers a sense of belonging and priority to insiders. This psychological reframing from follower to member reactivates the ownership effect, increasing the likelihood of advocacy and organic brand expansion. Algorithmically, Facebook prioritizes meaningful social interactions. This manifests in higher organic reach for group posts relative to page posts, as group members opt in with heightened intent. Within the group, members not only receive content, but also participate in dialogue, co-create value, and reinforce shared norms. This closed-loop environment amplifies both engagement and reach, establishing a high signal-to-noise ratio conducive to retention. Strategically, building a Facebook group involves more than enabling group creation. It necessitates architectural thinking. The membership gate is essential. Entry is predicated not on happenstance, but on intentional qualification. Through 3 carefully curated admission questions, the strategist acquires crucial data, the primary pain point of the new member, enabling personalization of future communications, an email address for off-platform relationship nurturing, an explicit agreement to community norms, enhancing buy-in and compliance. This triage process transforms entry into an act of commitment rather than passive observation. The long-term success of the group hinges on a robust value ceiling. Regular infusion of micro-rewards, content, tools, or access unavailable via public channels sustains participation and increases perceived ROI for membership. These may take the form of weekly live sessions, advanced resources, or early access to products, all of which reinforce the unique value proposition and status of group belonging. In terms of return on investment for retention, the strategic sandwich framework clarifies the value proposition. A Facebook page initiates contact, but a Facebook group compounds that value through ongoing self-sustaining interactions. Over time, groups become knowledge repositories and engines of social proof, as members answer questions, reinforce best practices, and propagate the organization's methodology. This network effect transforms the group into an asset rather than an audience, deepening member loyalty and reducing churn. As a strategic leader, the aspiration is not maximal reach, but maximal resonance. The cultivation of a core cohort whose professional identity is intertwined with the community you have fenced in. The fence, paradoxically, is inclusive for those within, providing not just refuge from online noise, but an intimate arena where professional relationships flourish and compound. Thus, by the conclusion of this lesson, the essential insight is clear. Facebook groups are less about keeping people out and more about creating a sustainable context where those within feel valued, engaged, and at home. In this environment, retention is not forced or accidental, but engineered, generating compounding returns for the business and meaningful connections for every member inside the fence.